It really does feel like we've got in our time machine today and headed back to the 2018-19 season, doesn't it? Why? Because I'm going to lead off this Sunday Hot Takes video by talking to you about a Sheffield United side dominating in the Championship under a certain Chris Wilder, along with a Norwich City side who we thought were going to be in a transition season under a manager who we don't know too much about in Championship terms, heading into autumn, winter, looking very, very good with some pretty hot players in some pretty hot form. Deja vu? Anybody? You tell me. We've also got some nice wins for Watford, Derby, Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday to talk about. Get in the comments if you were at a Championship game yesterday. We'll cover the rest of the teams, of course, on the Championship Check-In podcast with Sam Parkin tomorrow. Right, let's go back to my deja vu for 2018-19, which was a vintage Championship season, if I can forget the fact that Ipswich were one of the worst Championship sides ever and finished bottom. But it's not about them today, is it? Let's start with Sheffield United, who, statistically, are the best team in the Championship. Of course, they're not top of the table because of that -2 points. And Chris Wilder's joked about the proper league table that he's going to be reading. But the Blades tied up with Sunderland at the top of the table on 19 points from 9 games. Brilliant start. Remember, they would have 21, 6 wins and 3 draws for the Blades so far. Absolutely outstanding. 2-0 win over Luton, which, you know, on paper is 2 big hitters, 2 year 1 parachute teams going at it. Luton are stinking it out at the moment, though. So the kind of short-term context is Blades were probably big favourites, and they backed that up with another win and another clean sheet. It's 9 undefeated. It's 6 clean sheets in a row. They are in outstanding form. Jess Raksaki, which probably bears out how well they did in the recruitment. I was very worried about Sheffield United with what I was hearing in the midst of the transfer window. Done really well in that regard and couldn't have done a hell of a lot better on the pitch, could they, in these first 9 games? As I say, Raksaki with both the goals. They look fantastic. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, Chris Wilder, after kind of not entirely looking himself at Middlesbrough and Watford, I don't know. Is it just he's a great manager when he's at Sheffield United and nowhere else? I don't know. You tell me, but he really looks back to his old self. And yeah, Sheffield United, you other than that -2 points and them actually being number 1, they look very, very good. Let me know your thoughts on Sheffield United in the comments. And Norwich. Wow. What a win for Norwich. Obviously in 2018-19, the comparison I'm making, Norwich actually went on and won the league and Sheffield United finished second. Actually Leeds in 3rd and West Brom in 4th as well. I don't know what price you'd get for that. Look, Norwich are a way back in terms of position. They're only 4 points off it. They're in 7th place now. But they are in fine form as well. Look, I won't say too much on Norwich today because I think Sam Parkin's going to look at them on the check-in tomorrow. And Sam was doing co-coms for their 4-0 win for Sky TV over Hull City. We'll get the caveat in first, which we must do, is that from what I hear, Hull are incredibly open. So we'll just say that now. But from what I'm hearing, Norwich should have scored about 8 yesterday and were absolutely brilliant. And they are in fine form as well. 4 wins in 6, 7 points across the week. And that week did include a game against title favourites Leeds as well. And it does feel like, remember that first game Norwich played against Oxford where they were terrible and they looked in complete disarray and you had the Johnny Rose situation and it was Johannes Hoth-Torup's first game. It really has just trended up into, you know, what looks like exactly what he was attempting to get on the pitch in terms of personnel and in terms of pattern of play. And it already looks like a new look team. Doyle, Cordoba, Fisher, Cernak, Slimani, all in there as well. And despite the fact that Norwich pretty much have to sell every summer, Nunes, Sainz, Sargent, all in there as well. And by the way, I don't want to make lofty comparisons to Emi Buendia, who's one of the most powerful players, maybe along with Mitrovic, we've seen since the likes of Tarabd, I guess, in the Championship. But Saints looks incredible, doesn't he? 9 games, 9 goal contributions, 7 goals, 2 assists. He's got a way to go to emulate the great Emi Buendia at Norwich. But I mean, he's not doing a bad job of it. Sam will pick up on Norwich tomorrow. But there you go. Let me know what you think of my ludicrous 2018-19 comparison. It certainly feels like it's talking about those two teams today to lead off. Home sweet home for Watford and Derby. And Watford keep confounding me in the predictions. They keep getting what I think are difficult looking home games. And they keep winning the damn thing. Nobody has won more home games than Watford. And indeed Derby, who we're about to talk about. It was Watford 2, Middlesbrough 1 yesterday. Coming from behind against the Middlesbrough side, who looked like they might just have been clicking. They were on for a 9-point week, weren't they, Middlesbrough? Looking very, very good. Great win for Watford. They got 16 points. They're in the top 6. They've got 13 of them at home. It's okay to leverage your home form and be fantastic. I think Tom cleverly said it himself. Win your home games, have a good defence, and you're probably going to do all right in the Championship. And they're doing that, and this in the face of some pretty doom and gloom predictions with off the pitch stuff before the season, and the idea that Cleverley was a bit of a novice and a bit of an exodus of players and a drop off in quality. Fair play. Tom Cleverley is doing a fine job. Another great win for Watford and really leveraging that home form, much to my surprise as well. Well played, and take it, you Watford fans. And Derby is even more extreme in terms of a home sweet home narrative. Derby have 12 points. 12 points scored at home, 0 points scored away. But that'll do them. We're talking about a team that's come up from League One. There's this idea as well that David Clowes kind of came in as a matter of civic duty to take over at Derby, and he wants to sell on as well. He just needed to get them up into the Championship, keep them there, and maybe move the club on. They just need to survive, and they will, the way things are going. I mean, they're 12th in the table. They're nicely over the point per game mark with 12 points in 9 games. Obviously, need to get some points on the road, because we always say this, don't we, with when you're very good either home or away. Look, let's be honest, it's always home, isn't it? There's no one who's ever winning all their away games and none of their home games. But if that home form then slightly drops, you're just not getting any points anywhere then, are you? So they do need to rectify the away form. But another great win. Derby 2, QPR 0. Bang, bang, salvo in the second half. Nelson, towering header. And a great goal from Harness, bending it in the corner. 2 goals within a minute, which I think kind of sums up what Derby do at home, being they just ran all over from the kickoff after scoring the first goal, QPR, and got the second one. And set pieces as well. If any team in this league is brilliant at home and brilliant at set pieces, you know which half of the table they're going to be in. Derby have already scored 7 set pieces. They've only played 9 games. The nearest team to them has scored 4 set pieces. So they are exceptional at home and exceptional at set pieces. And play to your strengths. Derby are doing that. Excellent stuff, Watford and Derby. And leaving it late were Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday. Lots of draws yesterday, so I can just focus in on all the winners today. And Plymouth, by God, 11 points in 9 games. They beat Blackburn 2-1 yesterday with a late goal. And we know the narrative when it comes to Plymouth. It's all about Wazza, all about Wayne Rooney, isn't it? And all of those forecasts are, Ben, he'll be out by October. Sunday the 6th of October, I would say Wayne Rooney is more likely to be given a new contract than be sacked by Plymouth at the moment, because it's going rather well, isn't it? The recent home performances have been brilliant. That is 3 in a row. Again, as we mentioned with Watford and Derby, you need to pick up some points away from home. But they've beaten Sunderland, they've beaten Luton, and they've beaten Blackburn. And I remember going into this saying, oh, they have a difficult run, Plymouth. They're going to be struggling. They played Burnley away as well in the gap in midweek. But that is absolutely superb. We've already said about Plymouth, haven't we, with the geographical uniqueness there. You've got to leverage that home form, and that's exactly what they're doing. And it does look like Rooney's team, doesn't it? I know Morgan Whittaker's been a star for Plymouth for the longest time now, going back to the loan appearance in League One. But looking at the rest of the team now, Souks, Jarby, Alhaj, Sissoko, Obafemi, it's kind of Rooney's team, isn't it? And, you know, this is off the back of a club that scored 100 points in a season in League One, and you're kind of phasing out that team. That was 2 seasons ago now, wasn't it? And building his own. And, yeah, fair play, Wayne Rooney, confounding the critics a little bit at the moment. 14th place. So well above the relegation zone. A 4-point buffer as things stand. And Sheffield Wednesday appear to be trending back up, don't they? It's been a weird season for Wednesday, but they got a good win at Coventry. Maybe we'll touch on Coventry on the check-in podcast tomorrow. But that is 1 defeat in 6 in all comps for Wednesday. Remember, the reason I say it's a weird start to the season is they were amazing on opening day and won 4-0. And we think, oh, God, they can finish in the top 6, in the top 4 after doing brilliantly. And then they were rubbish for the next 4 or 5 games, weren't they? But they've pulled it all back around now. It's a 7-point week with a win over West Brom. Okay, they did bore me senseless in the watch-along in midweek with the 0-0 against Bristol City. But this is a great win, and it's a late win as well with Shea Charles. It's a win from behind as well, Shea Charles, in the 93rd minute. And it does feel like they're starting to stabilise now under Danny Roll. And everybody kind of expected it to be... I mean, look, there was a lot of very ambitious predictions for Sheffield Wednesday, but you'd think, are they now going to start to move into that middle range in the table under Roll and then see where they take it? They're moving in the right direction. So big late wins yesterday for Plymouth and for Sheffield Wednesday. And it is break time in the Championship now. International break. So we got 2 weeks. Let me know how you're feeling about your club's first block of 9 games. We'll be doing the Championship check-in podcast tomorrow with Sam Parkin. So if we haven't mentioned your team today, we will try our best to do that tomorrow. Get involved in the comments and check out the Friday night action as well up there, where a memorable end to a very big game between Sunderland and Leeds occurred, if you want my take on that.